You're on.
Okay, I would like to call to order the regular Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, October 23rd. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brady.
Here.
Mrs. Capabianca. Here. Mr. Cavanero.
Here.
Mrs. Helena here. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Marola.
Here.
Mr. Nargi.
Here.
Mr. Rivera.
Here.
Mr. Tebow.
Here.
Mr. Traub.
Here.
Mrs. Batchelder. Here. Mr. Campolita.
Here.
Mrs. Clacko. Here. Mayor Zorden. Not here. Student representatives. None this evening. Yeah, sports, perhaps.
Okay. School community session, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or on other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments are requested to fill out the speaker sign-up sheet, which is located on the front table, including your name and address, which must also be stated at the beginning of your comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. Participation time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee an efficient operation of the meeting. Do we have anyone on the sheet?
Yeah.
All right, no one on the sheet. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
Mr. Traub, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda.
Certainly.
I'd like to add field trip policy number 6088 under information sharing K. And under action items D, approval of the policy.
Okay, motion by Ellen, second by Chris. Discussion? Yes, sir.
I'd like to remove an item from the consent agenda. School Improvement Committee minutes available, not approved by School Improvement Committee. I would like the School Improvement Committee to review the minutes and pursue its normal function of reviewing the minutes and passing them, revising them, discussion, revision, and approval by the subcommittee itself, and then forwarding them to the board for approval.
Okay, so you want to remove 4A?
Yes,
until you
sir.
have your meeting next week?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Ellen, would you like to make a motion to approve the agenda, adding informational sharing item K, the review of policy 6088, the addition of action items 5D, the approval of policy 6088, and the removal of consent agenda item 4A?
Yes.
Okay, Chris, would you like that to be your second?
Yes.
That's outstanding. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Excellent. Informational sharing items. I guess we do have a student representative here. He's hiding behind the screen from us.
Hello, Board of Ed. Here's a summary of recent and upcoming events from the school, Torrance High School. Last week we had the first homecoming event at THS. Many activities were involved. The Ceramics Club ran an empty bowls event at the Elks Club and raised money for the community kitchen of Torrington. Student Council sponsored a blood drive at THS on Thursday. 49 pints of blood were collected. Mr. Rader on Thursday raised $290 for charity, and the winner, junior Tom Clackey, chose Susan B. Anthony as the recipient of the donations. T-Fest on Saturday involved student-run games and concessions along with local craft and jewelry vendors. Approximately 300 people attended. The homecoming dance itself on Saturday night was attended by 475 students, the most for any dance in school history. And Sunday, the JROTC held a successful walkathon for cancer. Last night, a ceremony was held celebrating the band's most recent accomplishments of receiving first place in every parade entered since October of 2011. Tonight, the Leo Club will be running Haunted Hallways, their annual fundraiser for fish that brings local children to THS for trick-or-treating. Tomorrow, the theater will be hosting their Haunted Theater event. On November 7th, students from THS will be going to the middle school for the secondary education fair. The guidance department at THS ran a successful college fair 2 weeks ago with reps from over 40 colleges and presentations to parents about the application process. And 2009 THS alumni Josh Quinn was just honored with his own photo show depicting photography he took during his deployment to Afghanistan. 2004 alumni Dan Rosso was just awarded an Emmy for lighting direction and scenic design for NBC Nightly News. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 4B, Provost Club Award Teacher of the Year, Mr. Aaron.
Thanks for having me on the agenda. The Provost Club of Northwest Connecticut is a service organization for the past 60 years. Once again, we would like to provide a token of our appreciation to the Teacher of the Year, Veronica Gelomino. So if you could come up, Veronica. The purpose of this approach is that we want to acknowledge excellence of our top educator in Torrington. And this is a tangible way that the Provost Club can do this every year. We've been doing this probably for about 30 years to have a top educator or teacher of the year that we have. And this is just a small token of Provost's gift to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you, whatever you want to do.
Thank you. I know that I said this at convocation, but really I feel like I'm just a representative teacher because honestly, at the middle school, there are so many great teachers, and I just happen to be the one that's here. So I just want to make sure we remember that, and I thank you very much for all that you guys do. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's nice.
Who said we weren't?
Oh, wow, thanks.
And then you got to open this then.
Oh, my goodness. Still Venetian. I love that place.
So when they come in to do your evaluations, you'll have something to work on.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
nice.
No problem. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice.
Thank you very much. 4C, Superintendent's Report.
In your packet tonight, you would have had an opportunity to review the TAG program as it will be this year. Included was the letter to parents and guardians of the students who were selected. They were selected through the same process that they have been selected for the past 20 years. And we've decided that in order to continue with the way it was, we will have 7 opportunities for the students to come together. There's about 25 to 26 students who were selected. And they will participate in activities at both Talcott Mountain and for the Arts Museum in New Britain. And what'll happen, instead of the children being pulled out and working with the teachers, she's set up a whole website with articles for students to read and activities for them to do. And then when they go on that field trip that day, it'll be like a pre-work before they go on the trip. And they'll talk about it on the day of the trip because it'll be totally connected, to that trip. And then students will, and it'll be almost like on a college level where they can go in and communicate with one another. It'll be a closed website. And they'll have discussions on their readings. They can raise questions and prepare for the trip, and then also post experiences when they finish. But it'll truly be, independent except for that one day when they go on the field site. And there was just everything that was sent home, the announcement, the dates, the different topics for their trips, and an approximate estimated cost.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Chris.
I think it's good that we preserve something for the TAG program, but I'm gonna voice my disapproval with this as I did last year at the end of budget season. This is not the same as taking gifted students and placing them in a classroom on a regular basis with peers who are performing at their level and engaging each other. Freeform. This, I think Mr. Cavanero said, we totally gutted the TAG program. That's it. It's 7 field trips, which is great, and I really hope that the board, my fellow board members will join me in making it a priority to reinstitute and find the funding for the TAG program next year to bring it back to, at the very least, what it was before this. So while I appreciate what we've done, and I think it's good to utilize the technology and have these field trips for these students, this to me is not a TAG program. That's all I have to say.
Nick. Yes.
And what would it take to implement what Mr. Madero just said?
Full-time teacher.
What would come from the
Yeah.
budget for?
A full-time teacher, 83,000.
Was it 83 for the reduction in TAG?
83,
Plus
plus about
transportation.
12,000 worth of transportation.
Almost.
Good. On to Jeremy Sheik.
Okay.
Community partnerships.
Also enclosed, it was requested to do a summary of different organizations in which Torrington Public Schools has low-cost, no-cost relationships with, and exactly what the association entails. I know I didn't get everybody. There's plenty more, but this is what I got back from administrators to this point, and it'll continue to expand. I'll, give you a full report, but I thought I'd at least start so that you can see who we're working with, what they're doing with us. Like for our one book, one community, one read project, we've received money already from Rotary, from United Way, and from, what was the third one? All-Star. So we've got about, and from the foundation, so we've raised about $10,000 that way. So that's pretty much, community going behind us and what we're trying to do.
Maybe the community would like to fund the TAG program.
I said low cost, no cost.
Yes.
And this isn't even in depth of what goes on. But, that the spirit of Torrington in that community rises to support the educational programs, I believe is still there.
I don't see anything that, and maybe there are something here, maybe that's not even what we're talking about, but I don't see many things here where any community businesses are taking students and bringing them into their businesses.
We're working on that with Sherma and with Kerma, because there's certain things that in order to put a student in a business for any duration, people have to be fingerprinted who might be working with the child, and we're talking, so no, we're working on that through the Manufacturers Coalition, and we're working with the Chamber with a Young Entrepreneurs Group. So we are, it's just, it gets to have daily occurrence or even weekly occurrence of students going out, we have to make sure those environments are safe. In most of these, it's people coming into the school or
Yeah, I think the board is, for years, looked for partnerships with entities in Torrington where the students will be, I don't necessarily want to say the word work in
No,
a
no.
technical sense, but somehow associated with different entities in Torrington where they're getting that hands-on learning experience.
and again, we just have to make sure it's a safe environment in which we send the children into. One example is with Champion Ambulance, because they teach the EMT course here, and then they go out and do work, on the ambulance. And so that's just one tiny little experience that they have. If we could get more of those. We are looking to develop a job shadow at least one day, one time this year, so we can let hundreds of kids out for a day or two.
Yeah, it would be great. Thank you.
One more thing, well, it was already shared, but really our THS band hit a trifecta or whatever, with their race of the roses, or, 3 in a row. They were 3 for 3 this fall, and that's just, unbelievable to be, to perform that well.
Joe, did you have to bring your paper from last night?
I did not.
Yeah, mine's in the truck.
There's a whole list of.
It was pretty staggering that the band has taken first place. Since 2006, they've taken 25 first places. And then the marching band, they've taken, I think it was 15 first places in jazz, for the jazz band.
Went to kind of an Eastern Seaboard type competition in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And scored, got the highest possible score, took home all of the highest possible awards.
Took home every award from
It was
the
pretty
Philadelphia
amazing.
Music Festival in, I think it was 09. Was it 08 or 09, do you remember? Yeah. I was looking at you, you were there last night.
It was 09.
09, okay. So, yeah, and this year for the band, they won first place. And they won the best overall for the parade, for the Bristol Lunch Parade. And so it's a first-time annual award they were giving out on behalf of one of the founders of that parade, I believe he was, or at least one of the longest directors of that parade. So it was quite an event. Very nice. Well earned. 4D, legal costs. Yeah. Go.
It
Kristen, you
was-
want to take it, or do you want to take another take? Okay.
During the budget committee last week, I was asked to put together a 5-year history of all of our legal expenses from 08 through present day, and the general area of expense being special ed, labor, FOI, et cetera. And if you go through each table, you'll see there's not many variances, except if when you get to year 2011-12 is when the expulsion part of legal increases, and that's solely due to the state law. So overall, looking from 2008, our legal expenses have decreased over 5 years. So I think this answers all questions that ever's really been asked about legal.
Comments on the legal costs?
What changed in the state law on expulsion?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but students could then now bring their legal counsel to expulsions, which then made the Board of Ed and administration have to bring legal into expulsion hearings.
Because you can't have the same firm represent the Board of Ed and administration. It has to be two separate. Because the board is hearing it. They hear the expulsion, and the legal representation for the administration is presenting why the student should be expelled. And a student could come with their own representation.
At their expense?
Yes, theirs
Yes.
is at their expense.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Question? Do we typically have more expenses at the beginning of the year or as the year progresses?
It all depends on the incidents that come up, that students have to go to expulsion. And it's,
Because I'm looking at the number for just August here.
the August were 2 that were carried over because it occurred the last week of school. So it would have been on last year's, but
Okay.
And they had to be heard this year.
it had to be, you know, because you
We
can't hold them during the
multiply that by
summer.
9 and come up with an estimate.
Pardon?
We can't just multiply that 23,279 by 9 months and
No.
come up with an estimate? Okay.
You,
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
Right, I
I
know.
prefer no expulsions.
General has increased dramatically in the last 2 years versus the previous 2 years. Why is that?
General's gone down.
No. General in 11-12 is 25,000 plus, at 12-13 it's 22, yet in 9-10 at general is, okay, you're looking at the total.
Because you went
Okay.
from multiple law firms to a single law firm, so it shifted line items. Just looking at the total.
Right.
That's it? Anyone else? Okay. For a request of board member Mr. Nargi at the, I believe it was the August, yes, it was the August meeting, was to bring up discussion before the board, to have the board consider memorializing all communications between the Board of Ed chair and the superintendent with legal counsel. In discussing this with Shipman and Goodwin about the costs, they estimate their legal costs to go up between 250 and 300% if they have to do a formal memorialization of every conversation. If they did a non-formal memorialization, they would expect about 125% increase because of the hours spent, the time spent to jot it down, write it up, ship it out, versus just giving a legal opinion and handing up the phone.
And I raised the issue that, and I didn't bring our policy book, but the policy book states that the legal, our legal representative is to communicate to the board, not to the chairman who relays to. I'm sorry I didn't bring the book and maybe find your.
I have the book. We're
Okay.
looking.
Bylaws?
No, it's not in the bylaws, it's in the policy section.
Turn to
What's that?
2.8 is turn.
It's not in 2008.